Yo, yo. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers, and freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorillas in the building. Giving y'all this quick live stream because I think we need to establish an understanding, right? Because we live in a world, in a society where there are a lot of sensitive people running around. You know what I'm saying? And they take everything personal, right? They internalize and personalize every fucking thing. And they think everything is about them.
Watch out,
right?
Vehicle on shoulder ahead.
And so I felt like I should come out and explain what sneak dissing is, right? Establish a baseline. Because people think that if you say something in a certain way or you say a certain thing, that you are sneak dissing them. Well, I don't think those individuals really know what sneak dissing is, or they simply just want everything to be about them. And so I want to establish what sneak dissing is, right? So we know what it is in rap, in hip hop. You know, when people sneak diss in a hip hop song or a hip hop record, you might say something, you might spit some bars that speak to a certain other rapper that people can easily put together. But the key is, those bars that you're spitting go against the individual personally, right? And so that's what sneak dissing is. It is a personal attack against an individual, right, that does not name that individual, right? It doesn't name the individual, but you say certain things about the individual personally. It's a personal attack against another individual that people can put together if they just use their brain. Or that person you're talking about, they can put it together and say, oh, that motherfucker sneak dissing me. Mind the man Samusa, salute to you, brother. What's good? And absolutely. Freedom ain't free. Rappers do it to each other all the time. YouTubers do it to each other all the time. But it's a personal attack. So let's say I'm talking about Taco Hat, right? I'm talking about Showbiz the Man-Child. If I'm talking shit about Showbiz the Man-Child, don't use his name, right? Which is Showbiz the Adult. Let's say I'm talking about Showbiz the Adult, but I don't call him by his name, Showbiz the Adult. And instead of calling him out by his name, I call him a bug-eyed, taco hat wearing coon, and never mention his name in the entire video or live stream. That would be a sneak diss, because I am referring to Showbiz the Adult without calling him out directly by name, but I'm also personally attacking, personally insulting that individual. I'm personally insulting him. When I call him a bug-eyed coon, that is a personal attack against Showbiz, right? And so that's what a sneak diss is, right? Let's say I'm talking about, oh shit. All right, that's all. That's all right. We got quite a bit of rain coming down. Salute to you, sunshine. You just did the unspeakable into a sock. Congratulations. Anyway, so that would be a sneak diss. I am personally attacking another individual, right, without calling them out by their name. And I'm saying certain things about them, right? I might not like them. I might think that they're on some shit, right? But It's a personal attack. But let me tell you what sneak dissing is not. It's not sneak dissing if someone has a stance or an opinion about something and you disagree with it. Right? So let's say somebody says that they like purple dragons. Right? And they're talking about purple dragons and their love for purple dragons. Well, I might come out and say later on in a whole different live stream that they're not present at, I'm going to say, you know what? I can't stand purple dragons. Purple dragons, I hate them because of this, that, and the third. Or it might be something like, I might have a stance about something. I might think Shakur Stevenson barely won against William Zepeda. And I might outline why. And it might be a completely opposite take of someone else who had a particular stance about that Zepeda fight. For mine, they might think that they won by a mile. There are people that think Shakur Stevenson clearly beat William Zepeda. They thought it was a wash. Well, I might say, I don't believe it's a wash. I disagree with the individuals that say that Shakur Stevenson clearly washed William Zepeda. Just because I had an opposite stance to someone else does not mean it's a sneak diss. Right? It might, you know, and I might have been in that person's live streams making comments. And then I come out and do my own live stream and I disagree with their stance. That is not a sneak diss. That is a disagreement. I don't have to say I disagree with this particular individual about the William Zepeda fight in order for it not to be a sneak diss. No, I just disagree with your stance and I'm making my own stance clear, right? Because it's not just one individual that thinks Shakur Stevenson clearly won. There are a number of people that believe Shakur Stevenson clearly won. And I just disagree with those people. And so I'm making my stance clear. So if I disagree with a person's stance, that doesn't mean I'm sneak dissing. Not saying that people are saying I'm sneak dissing. But you know, that word gets thrown around for other people, like not even me, right? There are people, if you have a disagreement, they get all butthurt. It's nothing personal, right? But you got sensitive people out there that believe that if you disagree with what they're saying, that you are disagreeing because of them. Like you're just taking the opposite stance because it's them. No, it just means that I disagree with you, right? And why do I want to talk? Why am I talking about this? Real Ozzy, even salute to you. Sunshine says that this is when you indirectly or directly attack the person that has a particular stance. Exactly. Instead of attacking the stance, I'm attacking the person. That would be a sneak diss, but I'm not mentioning that person's name. I might say, well, the bug-eyed taco hat wearing coon believes that there should be a no running rule. Right? And then I call him that and then say he's a clown for saying that. I believe that there should not be a no running rule. So not only am I attacking his stance, I'm attacking him personally. And if I do that, if I do that, I'm not going to not mention that person's name. I'm gonna say Showbiz the adult, that bug-eyed taco hat wearing cool. So that's not a sneak diss. It is a direct diss, an open diss that is clear and understandable, and there is no there's no ambiguity. You know exactly who I'm talking about. That's not a sneak diss either. You feel me? It says Real Eisen even sent a thumbs up. What does that mean? Interesting. Oh, okay. I appreciate that, Real Eisen. Even salute to you, man. Apparently, there's these little things that you can put while people are doing vertical streams. You can basically show your appreciation by doing the little gift thing. I personally haven't seen it yet. That was a triple roundhouse kick on the stance and the person you're saying. Exactly. Now, it's okay to disagree with people, right? It's okay to disagree with a person's stance. See, this is why dialogue is important. It's okay to have open dialogue, and it's okay for you to express your own opinion on your own platform. And this, you might have, I don't agree with everybody I rock with, but I rock with them regardless. But I should be able to disagree with their stances without being looked at as, snaky or shady, right? And that's where so much shit gets lost in the sauce. That's why so much shit goes awry in these YouTube streets. Not just YouTube streets, Instagram, any platform where you're able to express, able to express your opinions, able to get your stances out. People should be able to express their opinions and it be different from yours without you taking it personally. But some people take it personally, right? And I'm going to use an individual as an example, right? Oh, I appreciate you, Real Isaac Evans. I appreciate you. Salute to you, man. I didn't know if you had to purchase them or not. I wasn't sure. I appreciate you, Real Isaac Evans. Thank you for your support, man. I really appreciate that. You guys are always coming through it and supporting you, boy. I appreciate it. Austin Orr says that's the problem. It seems nobody is allowed to have their own opinion anymore. Exactly. People come in here like this morning when I was talking about Donald Trump suppressing the Epstein files. People came in here and they disagree with my stance on what anarchy is. And that's perfectly fine. I didn't take that as a personal attack. Right? It wasn't a personal attack. That person or those people completely disagree with me. Now, was it substantive? No, because they said what I explained was anarchy wasn't anarchy, but didn't explain what anarchy was. They just said, no, that's not anarchy. You don't know what anarchy is. Well, tell me what anarchy is. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me, all right, if what I'm saying isn't anarchy, tell me what it is. Right? Now, let's say another YouTuber came and they saw me talking about my bad. I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream. You know how it is when you're working and you got to get shit done. Got to answer them phone calls or whatever. But yeah, just keep that in mind, y'all. I mean, sneak dissing is a personal attack, right? At least that's how I see it. Sneak dissing is a personal attack against someone that you do, right? Whether you have a social media platform or you're a performer and you're throwing sneak disses in your records and in your bars, it's a personal attack, right? It's a personal attack against the individual. Disagreeing with somebody's talking points or their stances, that is not sneak dissing, right? If I disagree with something that you said and I express that disagreement in general, because here's another thing. You might not be the only person that has that stance, right? So someone might disagree with you and disagree with your stance that you just so happen to share with other people. So they state their disagreement in general, and we got to be okay with that. At least that's just my opinion. Because people take so many things personally where they don't need to, right? And everything is not about me. Everything is not about you, right? And so it's okay for people to not have your stance and not have your opinion. And we should be okay with that. We should be okay with expressing those disagreements. And it's okay to go to someone's platform and for someone to come to your platform and state a disagreement. As long as they're not personally attacking you and they're not making it about you personally, it's very productive to have those discussions when people disagree with you, because you get to understand multiple points, multiple sides, and someone might actually convince you to get on their side of things, but you won't even understand that unless you have those conversations. Conversation is important, and even if somebody personally attacks you, or if they're trolling, or if they just coming out and just saying some wild shit, well, I even believe in not censoring those people, because they might say some crazy wild shit that people need to hear. Sugar Free Mars, salute to you. How you doing, Queen? I'm just going over in general what sneak dissing is and what it's not. Some people take everything so personally, right? If I disagree with something you said, or if I agree with your opinion or your stance, and I might state the disagreement, doesn't mean I'm sneak dissing. Some people think that's sneak dissing, but believe it or not. And I was just explaining how sneak dissing is actually a personal attack. Yes, all is blessed, Sugar Free Mars. Everything is blessed with me. But I was talking about this morning when I was going in on Trump, talking about the Trump Epstein file thing. One of my employees, one of the guys that worked under me, passed away on Saturday. Apparently, he went to a party. He went to a pool party. What happens at pool parties? People get drunk. He drowned in the pool, drinking alcohol. So, there's that. That kind of hit me hard, because me and the family were just swimming in the ocean on Saturday, right? We were all in the ocean. Now, we weren't drinking, but, that energy was flowing. I don't know what it was, man. I felt a lot of energy from Yemaya coming in from that ocean on Saturday, and something told me to make right. I got 6 kids. Right, and we were all out there, and they're out there in the ocean, and you got to kind of divide attention, because they're out there, and I got to make sure that they're safe. And I was feeling a lot of energy coming from the ocean, and something told me to pay extra attention to my older kids, because they think they're grown and they can go out and further than they actually should, and I had to call them back quite a few times. But yeah, that same day, my employee passed away, drowning in a pool, and he was drinking alcohol. And I'm not going to put, let's just say a similar thing was going on at the beach. I'm not going to completely say everything, but you get the gist of it. I basically had to make sure 7 people were okay out in the ocean yesterday. And Spirit told me, you know, I was enjoying myself, right? Especially when I was out there in the water, because I was able to make sure my older daughters were okay. I was able to make sure, you know, my younger kids were closer to shore. They were in the shallower parts, you know. But I definitely felt something in my spirit, man. And then I found out this morning. Young black man too, 23 years old. Really good guy, hard worker, smart. He was eager to learn about electrical. He was really eager to learn. And yeah, that happened. But yeah, you know, you just send your prayers up, and that's all you can do. But aside from that, you know, I'm just talking about people taking everything so personally and making everything about them, because you might say something that is not in agreement with what they said, so they think that you're disagreeing because it's them, and you know, they call it sneak dissing, right? And I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and talk about this, because just because you disagree with something somebody says does not mean you're sneak dissing, right? Because like I said, you're not the only person that has that opinion or has that stance. So someone might disagree in general, right? They don't have to say your name to disagree with you. They don't have to call you out to disagree with you. No, they can just disagree in general. And it's okay. People should be able to disagree, have disagreements. They should be able to state their own opinions. Now, when it's a personal attack, right, then that's a different story. Like I was talking about earlier, let's say if I'm talking shit, I might talk shit about somebody. I might call somebody a bug-eyed, taco hat wearing coon, right? But I'm not saying their name. That's a sneak diss, right? Now, the taco hat wearing bug-eyed coon might want to make a no running rule, right? They might say, oh, we should have a no running rule. Well, if I say, you know, there are individuals out there that believe that there should be a no running rule, I completely disagree. That's not a sneak diss, right? You're just disagreeing with a stance multiple people have. But just because the loudest voice said that they want a no running rule does not mean you're sneak dissing that individual. Now, if I say, you know what, that taco hat wearing bug-eyed coon wants there to be a no running rule, well, that's a sneak diss, because now I'm personally attacking them. I'm calling a taco hat wearing bug-eyed coon, right? That's a personal attack, but I'm not mentioning their name, right? That's a sneak diss. But y'all know I'm talking about Showbiz the adult. Well, now it's no longer a sneak diss because I'm mentioning their name. That's not a sneak. If I'm calling you out by name and then talking shit about you, that means, yeah, I'm calling you out and I'm mentioning your name. That's not a sneak diss. You know, so, yeah, it was just something on my spirit that had me want to talk about that. You know, nothing really spectacular or important. But yeah, I mean, because so many people take so many different things personally. Like, they don't want you to disagree with them. They don't want you to, you know, they take everything as a personal attack, right? Because they're sensitive. They're sensitive and they want everything to be about them. They're narcissists, right? Walaikum assalam, King Fuser Lit House. How many aborted fetuses do you eat for a Sunday brunch in order to keep that smooth complexion? Well, not very many. Not any at all. I don't eat aborted fetuses. Or unless you're talking about eggs. But an egg is not a fetus, right? A chicken egg. Because if the chicken egg is not fertilized, you're not going to have a fetus in the egg. So, none. I eat unfertilized eggs. I don't know what we're talking about. Y'all funny. Y'all the things that y'all say is wild. Unaborted aborted fetuses. How many aborted fetuses? That's funny. Steph Brown, salute to you. I am. Thank you. I appreciate that. J Man's in the building. Now, nothing in particular prompted me to say that. Well, there is something in particular. Because there is an individual that's extremely sensitive, and you know it's funny. It's funny that King Fuses is here, J Man, and Sugar Free Mars, because y'all probably know who I'm talking about, right? Because this individual might go on BFTB's panel and say things, and if you write something in the comments that doesn't agree with what he said, he'll say you're sneak dissing because you're disagreeing with a stance he has, or you have an opposing opinion to him, right? Or you might agree with something BFTB says as opposed to that individual, but you're not attacking him personally, right? Exactly, it is KO, right? I'm talking about KO. So if you disagree with KO in the comments while he's talking, and you disagree with something he said, he'll call that sneak dissing.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
No, I'm not sneak dissing. I'm disagreeing with what you said. Why? What are we talking about? Salute to C. And and it's not just him, right? It's not just him. I mean, it's not just him. There are other individuals, but I want to make it clear that's not a sneak diss. That's just me disagreeing with something you said, right? Right. And it's not, like I said, it's not just him. That's why this is a general live stream, because so much more would be accomplished, right? And we can come to better understanding if we just were able to have disagreements without being so fucking sensitive.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
Right? Because I'm not sneak dissing because of something you said I don't agree with. If I'm not personally attacking you. If I'm not calling you a clown, if I'm not talking shit about you, the person, and not mentioning your name, then it's not a sneak diss. But if I'm clearly disagreeing with you, if you're saying something and I'm writing something in the comments that doesn't agree with what you said, I'm clearly disagreeing with you. Why do I have to say your name at the same time? I don't have to. I can just say, nah, I don't believe in that stance. I don't believe that. Right? And the reason, and so that is one of the things that prompted me to want to have this conversation, right? Because I don't give a fuck about your sensitivity, right? I don't give a fuck about your feelings. If you say the moon is purple, and I write in the comments, nah, I believe the moon is brown, that's not a fucking sneak diss. What are we talking about? King Fuser says, dude says all kinds of weird shit about Bill and Devin is foul. Yeah, he does, right? And if I state something against that, like if I say, well, you're lying, or you're spinning the narrative, or you're making shit up, well, I'm talking about what you said. I'm not talking about you. If you say some contradictory shit about something, and I'm calling that out, I'm not dissing you. I'm attacking your narrative. I'm attacking your stance. If you take it personal, well, that's on you. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Right? Well, you're gonna have to take it personal. Sugar Free Mars says, how you sneak dissing in the chat if you're making a comment about something he said. Right. And that's why I'm making this live stream. It's not just him, right? It's not just him. It's others that take shit personal. But I will say this. He called me out twice, right? To challenge me to a debate on BFTB's channel. He went on a BFTB's channel, got on the panel, called me out twice. Told me, let them know, let BF know when I can do it, when we can make this happen. I did it both times. Both times I've done that. I said, look, I'm free on Thursdays. You know what I'm saying? I got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Wednesday. Monday through Thursday, actually. I got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Right? Because I got to start my day at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm in bed, falling asleep before 8 o'clock. So I can't do it on those days. I can do it on Thursday, though, because I don't work on Friday. I don't work on the job site on Fridays. Both times I told him, yeah, I can do it on Thursday. Nothing ever came of it, right? But he'll go on the panel, like he did this past Thursday, and say, whoever want to call me out, whoever want to do this, whoever want to do that. Well, why didn't you say that then? Why didn't you say, hey, Freedom's March, I called you out 2 times already. Why don't you bring your ass up here and debate me? Instead, because I was writing comments, instead you say, instead of sneak dissing in the comments, if you want smoke, then come up here and get this smoke. Why didn't you call me out? I was waiting for it. I was like, okay, maybe he'll call me out and then I'll go up there. But he didn't. So he said that we were sneak dissing in the comments because we were disagreeing with what he said. Exactly, he sneak dissing. Naeem says, I went to bed after my overnight shift and woke up and you're still yapping about. Why are you here, Naeem? Why are you here? I don't understand. You went to bed after your overnight shift. I don't give a fuck about when you go to bed. What that got to do with me? If you have a problem with me yapping, then you can just go away. I don't understand why you're here. Help me understand it. Naeem, if I'm yapping, what? This makes no sense. If y'all got a problem with me, y'all think I'm yapping, y'all think I ain't making no sense, y'all think I'm stupid, y'all think whatever the case, I don't care. Have your thoughts or opinions about me all day and all night. I'm just asking why you're here making comments. Because the people that I don't fuck with, the channels that I don't watch, the channels of people I don't fucking like, I don't even watch their content. I definitely don't go in the chat and write. You'll never see me in a chat of a goddamn B Tatum, Anthony Bryan Logan, goddamn KO. You'll never see me in a manager, Janitor Cooney. You'll never see me in the Hodge Twins. You'll never see me in the comment section of any of these motherfuckers. Why are you here? Because here's the thing with me. It's not because I hate these channels, right? That I don't go and absorb their content and consume their content. It's not hate. It's indifference, right? See, the difference or the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference. If I'm indifferent to your content in your channel, you won't see me over there because it's like I have zero emotional attachment whatsoever to your channel. So if I don't fuck with your content or consume your content, like the amazing Lucas, all these guys, right? Including Dean by No Means and South Sucker, Fanon, who else? Whoever in the boxing space or in the political space. I don't go to Tim McCoon Bradley's channel. I don't go to Andre Son of Goof Ward's channel. I don't do that. I don't write comments. I don't do none of that because I simply don't fuck with him. That's just me personally. Y'all can do what y'all want. Y'all want to come over here and write silly, stupid ass shit like this? I went to bed after my overnight shift and woke up and you're still yet. Well, guess what? You wasted your time and your energy trying to get my attention to let me know that I'm still yapping. But I'm pretty sure I recognize and I understand and I have knowledge of the fact that I'm talking right now. I understand that I was talking this morning in the live stream, and I understand that I did another live stream this afternoon. I don't need you to tell me that I'm still talking because words are coming out of my mouth with sound. Right. You will never see me in these people's chats. And I'm pretty sure Sugar Free Mars, King Fuse's Lit House, Hassan 7, right? J-Man. I'm pretty sure y'all just don't go over to the, if y'all don't fuck with him, you don't go over there and fuck with him. Exactly, Sugar Free Mars. I mean, they be coming up in here worried, talking about my sexuality and all this nonsense. Like, I mean, it is what it is, right? So, that's all I'm saying, right? What I'm saying right now is, so the bottom line is, knock off Pity Pat or KO, goes up there and tells people to call him out. But you called me out twice. You call me out twice. You see me in the comments writing every time you're in there. I don't run from the comments when you go in there. I'm still writing. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. You go on the panel. If I say something that you disagree with, or if I say something that goes against what you said, and you got a problem with that, why not just call me out right there while I'm in the comments? It is what it is. King Fuser says, nope, Mars, your channel, Shower BF78, Drew Storm, pretty much the only. Yeah, real talk, I only fuck with LDBC channels when it comes to boxing. And when it comes to politics, bruh, it's very few nowadays. Because in reality, a lot of the freedom pushing channels, the channels that push actual freedom, that push, the truth and that push things like that, they get suppressed, they get shadow banned. It's very hard for those channels to stay afloat, right? I mean, there are channels I used to fuck with where they get all these different strikes. I've gotten so many strikes, but I had to learn how to use certain language, right? When Modelo 19 was out, when we had the Modelo 19 pandemic, it was a learning curve because they just started adding all these different restrictions, right? Because they were trying to stop misinformation. So they started adding all these different rules. You couldn't talk about Modelo 19. You couldn't talk about the jab. You couldn't talk about, if you got caught talking about any of that shit, you couldn't talk about Anthony Frosty. So you had to come up with code names, right? And some people didn't give a fuck, right? They said, no, I'm gonna just say what it is and I'm gonna say the real. They didn't want to use code words. They got fucking eliminated. Their channels got taken down because they didn't want to use the code words to protect their channel, to keep spreading the message of freedom. Me, I said, you know what? I'll use the code words. That's why I survived. I stopped saying the C word. I stopped saying the V word, right? It took some time though, but at some point you learn what you can and can't say. So that's how I survived all that. Because now some of my favorite channels that was pushing that, they're no longer around, including channels that had doctors speaking the truth about Modelo 19, right? They told you to follow the science and follow the facts. Well, you had doctors and researchers and scientists that had their alternative, what they call alternative facts. That's where alternative facts came from. They had alternative facts that, the government and YouTube worked together to suppress. And all that shit came out. Remember that? All that shit came out when they had Mark Zuckerberg. They had him. They had all these. They had the heads of Twitter. Remember that? They had the heads of Twitter, Mark Zuckerberg. And eventually it came out that the government was working with these platforms to censor people. They were paying the platforms to censor people, which is illegal as fuck. So they had to stop it. So it kind of got pulled back a little bit. Yeah, but that shit came out, and that's what those files, the Twitter files, that Elon Musk, when he bought Twitter, he started releasing all the Twitter files that showed that the government was working in collusion with these platforms to suppress and censor people that were going against what the mainstream narrative about Modelo 19 and the jab and all that other shit. Well, I was able to survive because I just used code words, right? But what happened was after all that came out in the wash, they started going back. So let's say it's 2022, 2023, when I moved out in South Carolina, when Modelo 19 was over and all that shit, and it just no one cared about Modelo 19 no more. At first, it was this whole thing that was going to destroy the whole world, right? Oh, everybody was going to die. Your grandma was going to die. Everybody was going to die. And then once it didn't work, and once there were less and less people wanted to get the jab, and that shit didn't work out the way they wanted it to, they just forgot about it. And so, but what was funny is, after all that came about, they started going back months and months and months. Because I was talking about Modelo 19 from the beginning. Even in December, when they started talking about December 2019, I came across information, right? I came across information from the World Health Organization where they were talking about Modelo 19 before it came to the United States, right? I was putting out content about it back then because I didn't believe a motherfucking thing they were saying about it. Nothing. I did a whole bunch of research on the face flags. I used to call them face flags because if you said masks, it would trigger the algorithm and they would take your channel down, or they would give you a strike if you spoke out against the mask. So I did research about the mask. I did research about Modelo 19 itself. I did research about viruses. I did research about all that shit. And I was putting out content about it. So that was in 2019, 2020. So here comes 2023 and 2024. They start going through my content months and months and months, way back in 2019 and 2020, and started taking my videos down, taking my live streams down. But they wouldn't give me a strike. They would just remove the content. See what I'm saying? Before they were giving you strikes, but now they're saying, oh, we removed this video due to medical misinformation. We removed that video due to medical misinformation. But don't worry, it didn't affect your channel. So they just would remove content that I had. You know what I'm saying? So I had a lot of content where I had done hours and hours of research because I was like, man, I couldn't work. And I wanted to, I didn't just want to believe what they said. I didn't go out when in Los Angeles, when they were trying to make this mask mandate. Oh, you can't you can't go outside without a mask or you'll get a fine, right? Man, I took my ass outside. I was outside exercising. I was rucking. You know what I'm saying? People were wearing masks outside like idiots. People were driving around wearing masks by themselves in the car. It was crazy. It was crazy. But like I said, I was putting out a lot of content, and they were after I survived the initial round of censorship where they were eliminating people's whole channel all together. I survived that, but then they started going back and removing content that talked about that. And so, yeah, I survived it, but it is what it is. Now I'm here, and I'm pretty sure something else will come up where you're going to have to start using code words to talk about it, but right now we're okay. Right now we're okay. But yeah. What's up, Tristan, aka Soul? Well, salute to you. But yeah, I'm here at the house. I'm about to get off this live stream, man, and finish my day up, man. But anyway, listen, man. It's okay for people to disagree with you. You don't have to take everything personally. It is okay to have dissenting opinions. It's okay for people to not agree with your stances and not agree with your position and all that. And even if they attack you personally, well, so what, right? I mean, there's nothing they can do to you that you can't bring upon yourself. You just got to stay alert. You got to keep your head on the swivel, because there are people that perished. I don't know, y'all remember that married couple that had beef with a YouTuber? They got gunned down in Las Vegas. So you still got to stay alert and keep your head on the swivel. But that's my message for today. Don't take everything so personal. It's okay. It's not a sneak diss if people disagree with you. Anyway, thank you guys for coming through. Thank you for hitting that like button. Thank you for listening to my rant today. And yeah, let's continue to march forward toward freedom. Peace.